Norman Solomon, author, political activist, columnist, general all-around brilliant, good guy, and genuine progressive. Norman, and old friend, Norman Solomon. By the way, Norman Solomon, SOLOMON.com, the website. Norman, welcome.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, it's great to have you on the program. You've got a great piece on Common Dreams right now about how we need to not only be thanking Edward Snowden, in fact, you offered a link for how to do that, but that this could be a moment for us. You want to riff on that for a bit?
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's hard to think of 5 days in the history of this country during our lifetimes where so much has been at stake and so much revealed. And really, I think Edward Snowden has given us a gift, the people of the United States and beyond. And it's up to us, Tom, you, me, everybody listening, everyone who cares about civil liberties and the Bill of Rights. Will we squander this gift and just sort of see it as something to look in on and look away? Or will we use it to organize, to agitate, to take action, to use our democratic small d possibilities to really make the changes to roll back these terrible assaults by the NSA and other agencies on our First Amendment, our Fourth Amendment, our Fifth Amendment?
Yeah. And will we?
Well, it's up for grabs. I feel encouraged by the last few days, but we've got to cut against, I think, a lot of the acculturation. With this blessed program and a few others as exceptions, most of the mass media just encourage us to be passive. And that's why, with my colleagues at rootsaction.org, we've put together this thank you petition. And for step one, it's not the last step, but the first, people can go to rootsaction.org and sign this petition thanking Edward Snowden for what he's done. We'll get it sent directly to him, and people can write their own comments. Beyond that, I think we need to resolve in the weeks and months and years ahead, not only to support him as he undergoes, this tremendous legal and political propaganda assault from the U.S. government, but also that we transform the dialogue in our own country, because, frankly, people on Capitol Hill and, of course, in the White House, with very few exceptions, they are hostile to the idea that we can reclaim our civil liberties.
Yeah, well, and I think that he's the next Bradley Manning. I mean, it's just...
Absolutely.
I so see this coming. I've been bloviating on this or commenting or whatever on a couple of different levels, and let me just run some of these by you and get your calibration and your thoughts on them as well. I have tremendous respect for your opinions and your perspective. We're talking with Norman Solomon. Number one is the fact that we have outsourced our national security. That this kid was not 29 years old. It's a kid to me, I suppose, but this young man was not working for the CIA or the NSA. He was working for Booz Allen Hamilton, and Booz Allen Hamilton, the way privatization of everything was sold to us by Ronald Reagan and all the libertarians and Republicans since then was, all the wonders that will come along with it. Corporations are more efficient. Government can't do anything well. So let's hand it over to corporations. Well, it turns out, as probably the most visible example, that's the private prison industry, that all they do is they suck us dry. They turn out, they treat inmates like crap, pardon my phrase. They overcharge us. They underserve. And why? Because they got to make a profit, and their CEO makes a. And so, Booz Allen Hamilton, you got a CEO who pulled down $3 million last year. You got executives making a lot. You got a kid with a GED making $200,000 a year, and he can hack the president of the United States, voicemail. I mean, is there? I've seen virtually nothing of that meme in the media. When are we going to? I want my. In fact, my opening rant today was titled, I want my boring, predictable, consistent career bureaucrats back.
Well, you make a great point, because our entire government, to a large extent, down to the post office now, the assault on the public sector involves turning this government into an outsourced corporate entity in various forms. And last night, the head of Booz Allen put out a statement trying to do at least some damage control, saying that the leaking of these documents were totally contrary to the proper conduct and values of Booz Allen. that they treasure so much over there. Now, what are those conduct and values? The conduct is to do anything they can get away of to maximize their profits, and the values are along that
anything
line as
legal,
well.
I would say.
Yeah, maybe they're willing to even break the law if they can get away with it.
Well, that certainly happens across corporate America constantly. I mean, we've seen a number of very large corporations, most notably the banksters. I mean, they're the obvious example, being indicted for and pleading guilty to crimes, actual criminal guilty pleas, and then paying fines, and nobody goes to jail. The corporation doesn't get dissolved. So, but whether Booz Allen is engaged in criminal conduct or not, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. After all, which takes us to our second point, and that is that what they were doing and what Edward Snowden was being asked to do and the access to the information he had and what this whole PRISM thing and what this is all about, all of this was actually authorized by Congress, was it not? Yes,
it was sort of legalized, and therefore what President Obama told us and candidate Obama told us, he didn't want these agencies doing something illegal. We looked into the Rorschach of his rhetoric and said, oh, wow, he doesn't want these terrible assaults and underminings of the Bill of Rights. It turns out, evidently, that our president just wanted to legalize what is patently outrageous and contrary to really what are our civil liberties values.
And, I mean, in 2007, do you have that clip, Shano, of President Obama saying, or candidate Obama saying, here's what the president, no, you don't, you do.
I will provide our intelligence and law enforcement agencies with the tools they need to track and take out the terrorists without undermining our Constitution and our freedom. That means no more illegal wiretapping of American citizens. No more national security letters to spy on citizens who are not suspected of a crime. No more tracking citizens who do nothing more than protest a misguided war. No more ignoring the law when it is inconvenient. That is not who we are. And it's not what is necessary to defeat the terrorists.
To defeat the terrorists. Now, two concerns, Norman. Number one, even if you consider 9/11 and you aggregate it into a 10-year average, more people die from slipping in their bathtubs in America than die in terrorist attacks, number one. And so is this really worth, taking off our clothes at the airports and getting groped and giving up our, and having our phone conversations listened into and everything else and spending, God only knows how much of our tax dollars on? Or should we be going after bathtubs? Number one. And number two, what happened to candidate Obama?
Yeah, well, as Senator Wyden and Udall have said, it's really not proven and, in fact, highly illogical and dubious that these draconian anti-civil liberties measures, such as have been exposed in the last week, have protected us from any terrorist assault. It's been police work that has protected us. And as for President Obama, I got to say, I was an Obama delegate in 2008 to the Democratic National Convention. I, like many, had high hopes. But now the leadership of the Republican Party has given faith a bad name, and the leadership of the Democratic Party, beginning with the White House, has given hope a bad name. That is unacceptable, and I think we now have the measure of the president. And that measure shows that he's duplicitous, that he's contemptuous of the Bill of Rights, and we have to say that is not acceptable.
Well, and how do we do that?
Well, I think it is about organizing, and I know on your program you've had some wonderful activists day after day, and I really think we have to keep going back to that well. Part of that, and just at this particular moment, again, encourage people to go to rootsaction.org. You can send the thank you petition about Edward Snowden, and also a petition for the Nobel Peace Prize for Bradley Manning. But that's part of a huge mosaic where we hunker down in our communities. We speak out, we organize, we don't defer to authority. We take inspiration from Edward Snowden and Bradley Manning. We say, no, we're not going to be silent. We're going to speak out. We're going to speak up. We're going to reclaim our country for democracy.
And movement politics is where it's always been. I mean, no real change in this country has ever happened without movement politics. What is Roots Action? Tell us about rootsaction.org.
Well, we've been founded now 2 years ago by many activists. Among our first enthusiastic endorsers was Glenn Greenwald, and we are now 300,000 active members around the country who respond to our emails, who sign petitions, who speak out, who contact their members of the Congress, and we are an action arm. We're willing to challenge war. We're willing to challenge the national security state. And so really, rootsaction.org is becoming a hub, and some days go by, more than 1,000 people have joined. So we intend to reach 500,000 and 1 million and organize on the ground as well to have real progressive change.
There you go, normansolomon.com, rootsaction.org. Norman Solomon, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Tom.
It's always great talking to you. We will be back right after this. Stick around.